So it's happening today. Biden is going to be meeting with congressional leaders on the debt ceiling as a default potentially looms. And there is some major news coming out on this. As you guys, in addition to that, we received word that yesterday, 43 GOP senators signed Lee's letter, a senator, saying that they will not be supporting pushing through a clean debt ceiling increase, which means this is pretty much going to be leaving Biden no choice but to negotiate today on the debt ceiling. And you guys, we've never been this close before. This could be an epic disaster. Now, if you missed the video yesterday, you're going to want to check it out, as they are now saying that President Joe Biden, he's taken into consideration the 14th Amendment on this debt limit. It is being viewed with extreme caution, though, by the Biden team, as we potentially could be looking at a first ever U.S. default. And this could be catastrophic, epic disaster for not only our nation and our people, but this will have a ripple effect that will be felt throughout the entire world. And there will be definitely economic devastation, the likes of which none of us will be able to predict. We have never been here before. We're not really sure what's going to unfold. Now, that meeting is taking place today, and we've heard President Joe Biden say he is not going to be approving any spending cuts. It's not even a negotiation. He said it's him vocalizing to the Republicans that you need to increase the debt ceiling. But now we have Republicans united together, showing up with a letter telling President Joe Biden, you need to increase the debt ceiling alongside spending cuts. We're reining you in, because if you do not, there will be no debt ceiling increase clean by itself. So we have two parties opposing each other at an impasse, and the entire world that potentially could be impacted by this. This could be an epic disaster, and they only have until June 1st. We've got about 3 weeks to figure something out. So we will see if something comes to fruition over the course of the next 3 weeks. And in the meeting today that's taking place, we'll see what they decide. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Is Biden going to bend to the will of the Democrats? I mean, the Republicans, we're hearing that he almost has no choice, that he needs to. Or will Republicans be willing to say, okay, we will increase the debt ceiling? I'm going to give you all the details coming out today. And this is huge, you guys. We've never been here before. Now, let me see. I'm just talking away. We've got about 550 people on live with me right now. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? People are saying hi. I don't see any issues with the sound, so I'm assuming everyone can see me and hear me okay. Let me know. No, he won't bend. He already said no, says Asher. Yeah, we will see. Somebody has got to bend. People are saying yes, they can see me and hear me. Okay, excellent. Do me a favor, if you can, smash the like button for me. Gregory King, one of the members of the channel, says yes. Awesome. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, great. So these articles, as you guys know, are going to be linked in the description below. I cite all the sources, so that way you know I'm not just making stuff up, and I'm going to put it on the description. I can't put it on the screen, but you guys will be able to access these. All these articles have come out in the past 24 hours. So I'm going to be reading for you the latest to get you caught up on this. And this is absolutely incredible. We're talking about invoking the 14th Amendment, essentially almost like the president is doing an executive order saying that he is going to bypass Congress to protect the American people. In addition to that, we've got 43 Republican senators now saying that they support the House's decision to push through the bill with spending cuts. And Democrats are saying we can't do this. And in the middle of all of this is the American people and our entire economy globally that could suffer if they don't come to some sort of a decision. So this could be devastating. Guess what? I'm almost got scammed with your pick, says Elizabeth King. Oh yeah, yes. And thank you for the reminder, Elizabeth. You guys don't fall for any of the scams. As you guys know, I will never ask you to invest in Bitcoin or ask you for money or have any of those grants or anything like that. Please avoid the scammers. If you see them, please let me know. I will never leave a phone number in the comments telling you to contact me on WhatsApp. I don't even have a WhatsApp, so please do not fall for those. But let's go ahead and get you caught up as to what's going to be happening today. And again, this is happening today. So I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to be traveling for a little bit, you guys. But as information rolls out, I will do some more video updates so you know, because this is massive what's going on. So the first one, let's go ahead and discuss this. Biden is going to be meeting with congressional leaders on the debt ceiling as a default looms. And this coming out just yesterday evening says President Joe Biden and congressional leaders, including two top Republicans, will meet Tuesday in the Oval Office today to open negotiations to head off an impending default crisis, although neither side expects to submit to make much progress. And that is the situation we're dealing with, you guys. Republicans and Democrats, both stubborn in their ways. Their hearts are hardened. Neither side willing to budge. Will the American people suffer because they are not willing to come to terms? With the Treasury Department saying that the government will run out of money as soon as June 1st unless Congress raises its borrowing limit. We are potentially looking at a default in 3 weeks. Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy of California have precious little time and virtually no pre-existing relationship. But even sitting down together is seen as a major step forward because the White House has so far refused to negotiate over the debt ceiling itself, and both sides agree a resolution is essential to avoid an unprecedented economic calamity of a default. So they're saying even this is progress because, as you recall, I was letting you guys know, Senate Majority Leader, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was calling upon President Joe Biden. He was calling him a spoiled, hiding child that was refusing to negotiate, saying he was stomping his feet, saying it's my way or nothing. And now they're saying the fact that they're even meeting is progress. It's a win for the Republicans for them just to come together. But both sides are saying they're going to show up to the table and they're going to let it be known that their stance is the way or it will be the highway. The president has been very clear that he wants to communicate to leaders the urgency of resolving the debt limit and preventing default. The White House said Republicans want to link spending cuts with an increase to the debt ceiling, leaving an impasse the two sides have been unable to overcome. The aide said from the White House that Biden is still not willing to negotiate over the debt ceiling itself, but he is open to separately discussing spending cuts with Republicans that they are seeking as a part of the budget process. So just to clarify, what we are negotiating on here are two items linked together, and that is we've got the debt ceiling and we've got budget cuts. President Joe Biden wants to separate the two and have the debt ceiling increase done and says we'll discuss budget cuts later. Republicans are saying no, inflation is out of control. The American people are suffering. Biden, your spending is way out of control, incredible. So they're saying we need to pull the reins in on you because your spending is nuts. So we refuse to increase the debt ceiling unless you agree to spending cuts because inflation is killing the American people. So that is currently what is at stake here. And Republicans are saying pass a debt ceiling increase, but also pass spending cuts. The Biden administration is saying no, increase the debt ceiling now, and we'll discuss budget cuts later. But Republicans are thinking that if they pass the debt ceiling increase, Democrats will not do spending cuts the way that Republicans think is necessary. Now, we've been clear that he wants to have that conversation about the budget and that he has put forward both a way to reduce the deficit in a way that is responsible with both revenue raisers and spending cuts. So we're open to spending cuts. We've made that clear, said the aide from the White House. Biden is not interested, here it is, in trying to use the 14th Amendment in a novel way to circumvent the debt ceiling, as some liberal legal scholars have suggested. The aide said, echoing Biden's insistence that it is up to Congress alone to raise the borrowing limit. He will reiterate that this is Congress's constitutional obligation and that they need to get this done. That position has not changed, and he will make that clear in the meeting, the aide said. Nor will Biden go into this meeting with a proposal that lawmakers pass a short-term increase in a debt limit to avert a crisis while the two sides continue to talk. As recently as last week, the White House had this said that there will not be a short-term extension. So if you're wondering if they're going to kick the can down the road just to avoid a default, no, they said that is not an option either. We either come to an agreement or we default. So they're putting everything on the line right now. That is not something that is going to be offered by the president at this meeting, a short-term extension. Senior House and Senator leadership staffed huddles together with the top White House legislative aides on Friday to lay the groundwork for Tuesday's negotiations taking place today. 3 sources familiar with the matter confirmed this to NBC News. Those in attendance included Louisa Terrell, the White House Director of Legislative Affairs, and Punchbowl first reported this behind the scenes regarding the meetings. Now, in addition to that, big news coming out just yesterday, you guys, coming out yesterday evening. Here it is. This is also linked in the description if you'd like to read it for yourself. 43 GOP senators sign a letter and they present it to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, giving them very little choice on negotiations in the debt ceiling. This article says that with President Joe Biden set to meet today, with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to discuss the debt ceiling increase, a letter was signed by 43 Republican senators, which puts additional pressure on the president to agree to cuts as a part of the negotiation. The letter was sent to Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and it was initiated by Utah Senator Mike Lee. And it says that Republicans in the Senate are united behind House Republicans and their conference in support of spending cuts and structural budget reform as a starting point for negotiations on a debt ceiling. So they're saying, unless you are willing to budge, we will not pass through a clean debt ceiling increase. With 43 senators signing the letter, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is unlikely to have the votes to move a condition-free debt ceiling bill to a vote. So they will not get this through the Senate with the 60 votes that are needed of the 100 seats, because they've got 43 that are unified opposing this. So that is pretty much saying that there is no negotiating room for President Joe Biden and the White House. Biden has said repeatedly that he wants a clean bill, meaning a bill that only raises the debt limit and has no conditions attached. He has threatened to veto the House bill that raises the debt ceiling, but also includes spending cuts and other reforms. Lee and other senators say that they won't raise the debt limit without substantive spending and budget reform. The House has taken a responsible first step in coming to the table with a proposal. It is imperative that the president now do the same. The 43 senators have said. So you guys, this is going down today. The senators have united just last night and said, Biden, there will be no negotiations. There will be negotiations. And if there is not, and you just try to pass a clean debt ceiling, we will stop it in the Senate. It will not make it through. Now, in an interview with KSL Radio, Boyd Matheson on Monday, Lee said Republicans were looking to help calm inflation through debt ceiling negotiations because the government has been effectively printing more money. The whole reason why we're in all of this trouble with inflation is because of runaway spending, he said. That's all we're trying to fix at the end of the day, is the runaway spending. Lee called the House Republicans' bill a great piece of legislation. Now, that is the bill that we reported on that is called the Limit, Save, and Grow Act. It increased the debt limit by $1.5 trillion in exchange for $4.8 trillion in cuts over the next 10 years. The savings comes from provisions like ending Biden's student loan cancellation program, so saying stop the student loan cancellation, returning discretionary spending to 2022 levels, repealing green energy tax credits, and expanding work requirements for federal programs like Medicaid and food stamps. Democrats have blasted the bill over the cuts that are included. At a press conference, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called the bill a ransom note and repeated Biden's assertion that Democrats would negotiate over spending only as a part of the budget process, not as a part of negotiations over the debt limit increase. Republicans have expressed frustration that Biden has been slow to respond to the request to negotiate over the debt limit. At the end of March, McCarthy sent a letter to Biden saying that the president was putting an already fragile economy in jeopardy by not meeting with him because of his unwillingness to come to the negotiating table. So, man, things are down to the wire here. Biden finally coming to the negotiating table, but you guys, I've let you know, some people are saying that it might be already too late. We will see if they're going to be able to pull this off in the next 3 weeks. And here's another article. This is linked in the description below. This is just absolutely insane. I reported on this yesterday. If you missed the video, check it out right after this live. Yesterday, I let you know, President Joe Biden, they are considering invoking the 14th Amendment. I cover all the details of it and the sections in which they're saying he potentially could call upon this to try to circumvent Congress and make sure that we increase the debt ceiling on his own, almost like an executive action where he just says, forget all of Congress. I'm going to do this on my own. But they're saying the legal repercussions, this could be very difficult to maneuver. It might not be enough. And the fact that Congress does not get it together on their own, we still could be looking at economic devastation. So this article just coming out yesterday evening as well says the 14th Amendment talk on debt limit viewed with extreme caution by the Biden team. President Biden and his team are approaching the prospect of a debt ceiling escape hatch that hinges on the 14th Amendment with extreme caution ahead of a pivotal meeting with congressional leaders and the White House today on Tuesday. Some officials have openly voiced concern about the legal standing of using the 14th Amendment to solve the debt crisis and the potential financial ripple effect of going that route. There is also a desire to avoid undercutting talks with lawmakers on either a short-term or long-term deal on the debt ceiling by vowing to go around Congress. So if he does this, he's essentially cutting off any negotiations, and that could hurt things in the long term for them trying to come to some sort of agreement, while not entirely ruling it out. So it is not off the table. Biden and other senior officials have hardly embraced the idea, which revolves around language in the 14th Amendment that says the public debt shall not be questioned. The idea of using that language to allow Biden to unilaterally continue issuing debt has reportedly been floated privately within the administration. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Sunday, just let you guys know when it had come out, however, said using the 14th Amendment would trigger a constitutional crisis. She argued that lawmakers should not let it get to that point. We cannot let it get to, it's crazy that we are even to this place. I can't believe I'm reporting on this to you guys, that we are 3 weeks away from a default. This could be devastating. Not to mention, I've shared with you in previous videos, the disruptions to Social Security, veterans benefits, all of these different programs. Anything that has to do with debt is going to be devastated. There will be disruptions across the board. They're saying, make no mistake, it's been confirmed by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. All those fixed income benefits involving Social Security and all of these programs, there will be disruptions. There will likely be massive delays. There could be incredible issues that are coming. I can't believe that we are this close. I think I've reported to you guys several times that I was fairly confident that they would get this done in time. And the fact that we are here, this has never happened before. It is just absolutely insane. It is incredible that they have let it get to this point. There is no way to protect our financial system and our economy other than Congress doing its job and raising the debt ceiling and enabling us to pay our bills. White House Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said on ABC on Sunday, and we should not get to the point where we need to consider whether the president can go on issuing debt. This would be a constitutional crisis. Yellen would not explicitly say that the idea was not being considered, but described it as one of the not good options if Congress fails to act. Biden was asked on MSNBC interview last Friday about using the 14th Amendment and said, "I've not gotten there yet." The president has previously expressed opposition to changes to the traditional debt ceiling process. Asked last October about abolishing the debt ceiling entirely, and Biden called the idea irresponsible. Talk of whether the debt limit is constitutional under the 14th Amendment, which generally deals with citizenship and was added to the Constitution after the Civil War, has heated up inside of the Beltway as concerns that the U.S. could default. Is growing currently increasingly urgent. Yellen has warned lawmakers the U.S. could breach the debt limit by early June. June 1st is what we're hearing as the X date, meaning that the country would default if Congress does not act. A default would lead to increased interest rates, the potential of losses of jobs, a likely drop in the stock market, and delayed Social Security payments, among other several consequences. We don't understand the full extent of likely what could unfold here. There are some administration allies who see the 14th Amendment as a potential way out of the impending crisis, should Congress fail to act, but one that is not without its own consequences. Mark Zandi, the chief economist at Moody's Analytics, who is often cited by Biden administration officials, told senators in March that a 14th Amendment declaration seems the most viable option. Wow. He believes that the 14th Amendment, invoking it, is the most viable option because both sides right now are so stubborn that we are going to default. This is insane. If the nation is about to breach the debt limit, investors would rightly wonder if using the 14th Amendment to abrogate the debt limit law would stand up in courts. And even if so, what it means for our political system's checks and balances, given the constitutional crisis that it would set off. Financial markets would still be roiled and a recession would ensue, Zandi said in a testimony before a Senate subcommittee on economic policy. If we go this route, we are still going to be in a disaster. Administration officials are likely to be particularly sensitive about discussing a way to work around Congress entirely ahead of Tuesday's meetings among Biden. and Kevin McCarthy and Senate Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffrey and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's meeting. For Biden to invoke the power would almost certainly spark litigation, but the debt ceiling itself is now also facing a legal challenge. A lawsuit from the National Association of Government Employees contends the debt ceiling is unconstitutional because if the limit is reached, Yellen would be forced to decide which payments to prioritize, violating the separation of power and taking on Congress's spending authority. The White House on Tuesday declined to commit on the lawsuit. You guys, I'm sorry. I'm just having trouble reading this. It's just insane to me. Like now they're going to have to decide if we default, who is going to get delays, who's going to get cut, and what's going to happen. I'm just reading this and I just can't believe as the words are coming out of my mouth, I'm hearing them that this is happening. This is absolutely insane. While some legal scholars have promoted the 14th Amendment as a way to sidestep the debt ceiling, many caution such a move may not be legal. Anita Christmager, a professor at Georgetown Law, said the Constitution under Article 1 gives Congress the power to pay debts and to borrow money on the credit of the United States. And they start getting into some of the history of this. The right question is whether Congress, after passing the spending bills that created these debts in the first place, can invoke an arbitrary dollar limit to force the president and his administration to do its bidding. The president should remind Congress and the nation, I'm bound by my oath to preserve and protect the Constitution to prevent the country from defaulting on its debts for the first time in our entire history. Unbelievable, you guys. So this is linked in the description below. Man, I'm like in a little bit of shock because I can't believe that we are like this close to this happening. It just feels like we already went through some like a global crisis with the pandemic. And now we could be looking at a massive global economic crisis right now because our leaders in our Congress cannot come to an agreement to raise the debt ceiling and spending cuts. It's just absolutely insane. I feel like I'm stuttering quite a bit. If I am, I apologize. It's a little bit of shock reading this. Like I skim through the articles. I don't read through all of them. I make sure I hit the main points. And as I'm reading it out loud, it's just absolutely unbelievable to read and to hear myself saying this out loud, that our country is currently in this situation, one of the biggest economic power in the world, and we're on the brink of collapse. It's just absolutely insane. I will keep you guys up to date on whatever unfolds. I'll make sure that you guys know what's going on, because I think the most important thing right now is that you guys are aware of what's taking place, because if we do default, this will be historic. This will be in history books. I didn't think that we would even be close to this, if I'm being honest. So it's absolutely incredible, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We've got about 750 people on. I will answer any questions if I can and help you guys out. I've got to hop off here in a little bit. Got to get ready to make my way out to my trip in Dallas. But if there's any way I can help out with any questions, I'll be happy to do so. And I know yesterday I uploaded that video about the 14th Amendment. And people were saying, no, you can't do that. Like, that's unconstitutional. It's like breaking legal authority. And they're saying they know that, but they're to the point of desperation now. So we'll see. Who knows? Today, they might come out of the meeting and somebody bend it and there was an agreement. We will see. Yes, somebody's doing the thumbs up. Do me a favor, thumbs up if you appreciate the updates, even though I don't think it's anything that anybody wants to hear. It helps me out with the channel, you guys. I'll keep you guys up to date. Do you think that they will resolve this? I hope so, Speedy Rider. You know, I thought they would have resolved this a while ago because there's so much at stake. It's just shocking to me that we are this close to potential default here. They need to get Biden out of the office, says Althea Road. Well, Althea, there's going to be elections next year. Thank you. God bless, says Laura. You are welcome. I'd do anything to live off the grid, says Debbie. Yeah, we might all be. Charge it to Biden. Your trip, Steve, says, have a safe trip. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be on the road today, but I should be in Dallas later on today, and I'll get you guys an update as to what unfolds. If something comes out of that meeting, I'll let you guys know. I'm not super hopeful at the moment because it's the first meeting. I'm guessing there will be more follow-ups, and I'm hoping that somebody will come to an agreement. I think somebody will bend. I just don't know who. I'm hopeful somebody will. My guess would be maybe it would be Biden. I think Biden might have to fold. But I'm not sure. Let me know, who do you think is going to bend? Actually, I'll do a poll. Who do you think is going to bend? Who is going to give in here? Start a poll. Who will give in to avoid debt ceiling crisis? Is it going to be Biden? Is it going to be McCarthy? Or are we doomed? Is it going to be neither? All right, community, let me know your thoughts. Who will give in to avoid debt ceiling crisis? Who will say, I'll put my agenda aside so that way we don't have a crisis? Is it going to be Biden? Is it going to be McCarthy, or neither? We're going to have a debt ceiling crisis. Let me know your fault. Let me know your thoughts. Steve, can you share Washington Examiner is talking $4,500 Social Security checks coming? Gregory King, I'm writing that down. Let me grab my pen here. Washington Examiner. $4,500 Social Security checks. I will take a look at that for sure, because I know a lot of the people here on my channel, they collect Social Security or some types of benefits. And if I can find out information to help people out, absolutely I will. Right now, there are bills for reform that are underway. And there's some of the proposals suggest modifications to distributions for Social Security. So we will see. Let's see what's coming out for the results. 85 people have voted. About 40% are saying Biden will fold. About 17% are saying it's McCarthy. 42% are saying neither. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but in my personal opinion, I mean, McCarthy was denied the Speaker of the House position 15 times, and he still was. So that he's somebody that is pretty stubborn, and Biden is going to take the blame if we go into a default, and he wants to get reelected next year. So I think that Biden has got more to lose on this, and McCarthy is more stubborn. I might be wrong. We'll see. Or maybe they might increase the debt ceiling and make some sort of negotiation aside from that will appease McCarthy and the Democrats regarding spending. We will see. Man, I don't know. I certainly hope that somebody bends. My guess would be it would be Biden, and that we'll hear something about some additional cuts coming. But I don't know. I certainly hope that we do not default. It's absolutely insane. I was like reading this out loud, and I was just feeling like shock that I was actually reading this. So we will see. Some people are saying they think McCarthy might bend. Some people are saying that they think neither, that we're going to go into the first ever U.S. default. This is absolutely insane, absolutely incredible. Just can't believe that we are to this point. Gregory King says it's about the digital coin taking over. That could be it. Man, yeah, that would definitely be a mass introduction of that. Right now, the Federal Reserve is working on a digital dollar to introduce. They have a lot of pilot programs running for bank to bank right now. They want to, by the year 2030, have it implemented for everybody. And if we have a collapse, yeah, that would probably be a good time to introduce a digital dollar while things are falling apart economically with our current system. Timper says McCarthy always flips. So we will see if McCarthy changes his mind. They don't care about us. The rich, steal from the rich and give to the poor. At least Trump tried to help us, and I don't even like him, says Jagmax. McCarthy will fold as he can only afford to lose 4 votes. This will reign in the CBDC. This is their move. Why don't they take the brown bag from home and have tuna egg? Yeah, we will see, you guys. It's very unfortunate what's going on, but I'll keep you guys up to date. I know that they're going to be having the, hey, Steve, thanks for all that you do for us. You're the best. My twin sister, Dawn, and I were saying, oh, the insanity. Yes, Denise, it is insane. Absolutely incredible. Like, I can't believe I'm reporting on this stuff, but we will see. Hopefully they come to an agreement. Like I said, today is the first meeting that they're having. And as soon as we get some news coming out, I'll likely be in Dallas. I'll try to get you guys an update on what they say, because this is crazy. We're at the 9th and they're saying the 1st of June is the default. It's the X date. So we will see what unfolds here. David says, just remember, God is always in control. Amen to that. This simply bill is not negotiations. Pay you bill, please, says Rick. Biden will use the 14th Amendment, says Alberto. You know what? He might. You know, if we can't get to an agreement, they might try to do that. The only thing is they're saying that even if they do that, it still could be an economic disaster. It still could be disastrous for us, because then they're saying also he's breaking potentially like they're saying it might not be necessarily legal either, but we will see. So we got 164 votes, 40% believe that neither will come to an agreement, that we're going to default. 36% say it'll be Biden, 22% say it'll be McCarthy. So we will see. Absolutely incredible. You guys, I will keep you guys up to date. So that is the latest coming out. And as more comes out, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Also, Social Security, I've got some updates for you guys as well. Stimulus checks, as more information comes out. Any of these programs, I will keep you guys up to speed here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And if you want to be a member and help me out with some of the topics, don't forget, hit the join button and you can do so. And I'll keep you guys up to speed on everything. Thank you guys so much. I'll let you guys know as new info comes out. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.